Viewers, my name is Sunday Musa, but my friends call me Odonko. From a family of 5, I'm the first. Well, we're 2 boys and 3 girls, and you know, I live in Jos. Actually, I live in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. But originally, I'm from Basa local government of Plateau State. I've lived part of my life in Jos and a little bit in Abuja also, because sometimes in 1999 we left Jos for Abuja and lived for about 6 years or so, because August 2005 we came back to Jos. So I concluded my secondary education in Jos, went to the University of Jos, studied industrial chemistry, and you know, graduated 2015. And since then, I've been on the street, per se, you know. Basically, my life has mostly been in Jos. And also, what I do for a living is I wash. Some people call us laundrymen, some call us dry cleaners, you know, but depending on what you choose to call us, you know, but what we do for a living is we wash clothes. We wash clothes, you give us dirty clothes, we give you clean clothes back, and then you pay us money. So that's what we do, and I've been in this business for about 2 years now, because we started up in November, I see, sometime in November 2016, and you know, so I've been rolling since then. The story of how I started, it's a little funny per se, because I once heard someone say that when opportunity meets preparedness, it's called luck. But I wasn't really prepared for this business when I started, but I met an opportunity and then I took advantage of it. I was sent by my dad to go and pay for a prepaid meter for the family house, and then just walking past this location, I saw a signpost that wrote "to let," you know, and I had this 35,000 naira in my pocket, but you know, the fact of the matter is I was a graduate of industrial chemistry. I was employable, but there was no opportunity. Then I thought to myself, having been inclined to business right from school days, I said, there has to be something I'll do with this location, you know. If you check the location, it's just directly opposite a junction. There's a T-junction right outside the location, and then it's kind of a busy place. So I just took the risk. I took the shot, you understand? I said, something has to be done here that can make money for me. I can't keep going up and down submitting CVs and stuff. I'm not that kind of a person. Like I said, I've been in the street all my life. So I did something that I considered wrong, but I thought it was for the right reason. I took off the logo, I mean the signpost that had "to let" on it. I took it off. Now it means it has gone out. Yes, I copied the agent's number and then I called him. I said, I've seen a shop at Brightway Junction and then I want it. How much is it? He told me the price. I said, I have the money. Truth is, I had just 35,000 and the shop was going for 50. And I said I had the money. Then he told me where to go and meet him. I went there with a friend to go and beg. I begged him. He said, okay. He gave me a week or so. You know, from then on, I was sure nobody would call him again because the number was not up, you know, around the shop. So I called him. He gave me the time. After a week or two, I paid. That was August of 2016. Yes, I went. He gave me 2 weeks. You know, I had to gather the money, and then I went and paid. Now, from August till November, there was nothing to do in the shop. I was just thinking and reading books. You know, I was just looking for ideas. But I saw that from Gadabu to Barracks, there wasn't any, you know, strong laundry store around. No big dry cleaner. So I thought, okay, how about doing this? Try it out. And I had money to do this. This was my first table. It still is. You know, I have a couple others, but this was the first. I borrowed money from friends and family. I made this table. I bought one iron. Before buying down, I took the family iron, of course. You know how it started. So I brought it here. Started with my bare hands. No machine. The hands bought the first machine bought the second, and the second one bought the generator. And you know, you remember I told you earlier on that I was sent by my dad to go and pay for the prepaid meter that was supposed to be installed in the family house. That was the only money I had on me. Apart from that money, every other thing with me was just my transport to the NEPA office. Being that as it may, now it means that I did not end up going to the NEPA office. That was the exact money I used to go and rent this shop. That was the money. All didn't go funny. Let me tell you the truth. All didn't go funny. It was something else. Now, truth be told, first of all, I had to lie. I'll confess, yes. I had to lie to my dad. First, when he inquired to know if I had gone to pay the money or not. But, you know, lies, as they say, always have their expiry date. So I lied for a while, for a week or so. 2 weeks passed by. And then my dad had to leave Abuja. Okay, we don't live with my dad here in Jos. I live with my mom and the rest of the family. And only my dad lives in Abuja because he works there. He had to leave Abuja to come and confirm because they told him, he had spoken with the manager earlier on before he sent me. And then they told him, immediately I bring the money because then, 2015, 2016, as soon as you pay, they install. So he had spoken with the manager and then they told him that as soon as I bring the money, a week after, the prepaid meter will be ready. And so I lied for a week or so. I didn't know they spoke. My dad is a very patient somebody who lets you lie and then he will know how to treat you. You know? And then after 2 weeks, or there about 2 to 3 weeks, he had to leave Abuja and come back to Jos. Just to come and confirm if, you know, the prepaid meter was ready or not. Not if I had paid on, because he trusts me to the point he wouldn't think that I used the money to do something else, whether good or bad. If I'd used it, I would have told him. You know, that would be his perception. So he had to come. And when he came, I insisted that I had paid, not knowing that he was going to the NEPA office himself. Being the first child, I do the runnings. So I didn't think that he was going there. And then he went to the NEPA office, straight to the manager's office. You know, after a while, because he called me and told me he's going out. He was going out. You know, I received a call from him. Boy, guess what? My dad had confused the entire Polo branch of JED. He and the manager, yes, him and the manager they had exchanged words, you know, almost beyond repair because of my own lies. You understand? And then he called me, Yaro in Hausa. I'm like, okay, Baba, how far? And he's like, why didn't I tell him that I did not pay for the prepaid meter? And then I knew, you know, that my bubbles had already been busted. So I just told him there's nothing to discuss on phone. Please, let's meet at home, you know, and then we'll settle the rest. But guess what? What I expected my dad to do was nothing close to what he did. I expected him to shout on me, to insult me, to express his disappointment, you understand? Because I had caused him to go and embarrass himself in the NEPA office. But coming home, he asked me the simple question, what did you do with the money I gave to you? I told him, I said I used it to rent a shop. Dad has always known that I'm business inclined, you know. I did something in 200 level. He gave me my school fees. I used it to start a business and then use the proceeds from the business to pay back the fees and then the capital, you know, to sustain myself in school. When I told him that, he knew about the story. So when I told him that I rented a shop, he didn't shout. The only thing he told me, and I'll never forget, is that he should have told me earlier so that I would raise another money for the prepaid and help you with capital to start any business. Those were the most important words. As far as business is concerned, between me and my dad, those were the most important words that he ever told me. And so it ended peacefully. He gave me another money for the prepaid. And the first washing machine, though it was my hands that bought the first one, but he gave me part of the money. He asked me to raise a part, and then he concluded, he completed the money for me to go and buy the first washing machine that we had in the shop. So that was what took place, you know, after I used the money for the prepaid meter to rent the shop. My motivation, actually, I'm of the school of thought that whatever we can think and believe, then we can achieve. I've never subscribed to impossibilities, you know, and coming from the kind of family that I was brought up in, I grew up in abject hardship. The slums of Jos. I was born in Gadabu, very close to Genta, you know. If you check, you ask around, you know, you hear where Genta is. I was born in Gadabu. I grew up, you know, in parts of Gadabu, and then Rukuba Road, and then Tudunwada. Even when we went to Abuja, when you hear the name Abuja, probably you want to think of Gariki, Maitama, and the rest. I was in Jikoi, phase 2, you know. It was still under construction. In fact, we used to kill rats and snakes in our house, you understand? Those were the kind of places I lived. I saw the hardship my father went through. Just paying our school fees and then feeding us, you know, and operating the kind of family we had, it wasn't really easy for him to send anybody off because he's the firstborn son of his own father too. So he's everybody's uncle. So we had visitors month in, month out, week in, week out. And so he had to work extra hard to take care of people who he was not directly responsible for. So I saw my mother is kind of say a housewife, you know. So if I would want to explain my motivation really, I would say it is the hardship that I grew up to see my parents suffer that pushed me into thinking that no paid job will help me alleviate the level of poverty that I grew to experience in my family. So I studied the hardship, and then I knew that I had a lot to do, you know, in order to meet up with the demands of the family. So taking that risk was, of course, no big deal for me. It was something I knew I had to either do or die. It was just simple. Going somewhere to learn the business, I didn't. Truth be told, my mother told me something. I didn't do it consciously when I was growing up. But while growing up, when we were living in Abuja, the nature of my dad's job has him wearing suits and kaftans, you know, in between days. So he gave us his clothes to iron for him. He didn't have enough money to go to the dry cleaner. So he gave us his clothes to wash and to iron. At age 13 particularly, I would remember, I told my mom something. While ironing my dad's clothes, we came in touch with, we saw some cash in his pocket, and then we gave it back to him. And she said something. She said the normal roadside dry cleaner wouldn't do that, you know. And I'm like, this is my dad. This is the same money I gave him back that he would use to take care of the family. And then I told her something. I said, when I grow up, at age 13, I told her this. I said, when I grow up, I want to be a dry cleaner. I told my mom. She reminded me. I forgot. She told me this thing just last year. When we were about celebrating our 1-year anniversary of the shop, there was no ceremony actually. I just had to go back home to tell them that this business has thrived. You know, we're pushing hard. It's 1 year now running. And so she said, remember one thing you once told me? I said, what? She said, at age 13, you told me that when you grow up, you would want to be a dry cleaner. So it's something we learned from scratch. I think I would say my father taught me because he gave me his clothes for practical. So I didn't go anywhere to go and learn this job. I didn't call anybody to put me through anything. The only thing I learned officially was how to seal my leather without a sealing machine. A graduate of industrial chemistry becoming a dry cleaner. I've seen engineers in banks, and I've seen nurses in secretariats doing, clerical jobs. There's nothing special about what you study and what you want to become. The relationship basically, is the thin line between passion and pursuit of excellence. You get the point? So being a graduate of industrial chemistry and ending up as a dry cleaner, it's no big deal for me. I had one orientation while growing up, and it's to be self-employed. So even if I wasn't a dry cleaner today, I'll be doing something that is chemically inclined but self-innovated. You understand? This is the job I felt within my scope of influence that I could easily do and make extra cash. Everybody will look at me and say, go get a job. Some people have looked me in the eyes and told me that I'm intelligent, and so I shouldn't be doing this. And I'm like, okay, we have left the job, we have left the business for dull people. That's why there's no productivity. So graduating from industrial chemistry and coming into laundry is just graduating from school and becoming self-employed. After graduation is employment, so you decide the kind of employment, self-employment or being employed by someone else. So I decided to be self-employed. So it's the same thing that could happen to any other graduate of industrial chemistry, chemical engineering, or anything. So I don't have a problem with seeing myself as a dry cleaner, even while being, an industrial chemist. That's what they call us. But what they taught us in school was how to mix chemicals, but not how to make money. But after graduation, I had to learn, from the school of hard knocks, how to make money. So I'm here to make money. Dry cleaning is just step one of the so many other things, I would want to do. I aspire to be a businessman, that's all. I just aspire to be a businessman, and this one is a stepping stone. I love this job. I love this job that I'm doing. Sincerely, I won't lie. If I didn't like this job, not to talk of love, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't even be smiling. You understand? T.D. Jakes once said something. He said, do what you love doing, whether you are overpaid or underpaid. But if you find yourself doing what you don't like doing, you quit immediately, because the day you know you don't like it, that's the day you should resign. I've never had any reason to doubt, my source of joy per se as a person, apart from being a businessman and first of all being a dry cleaner. I've never doubted this being a source of joy to me. So I love it. That's why I'm doing it. In fact, that was the reason I started it, because I love it. You give me a dirty cloth, I give you back a clean cloth. Come on, who does that? And will not be happy, So I like it. Challenges in this business. I think first of all, for any laundryman, any dry cleaner, the first problem will be power. The location of the business itself is not where you would get steady supply of power. I know power is a national problem, but within our own locality, I think it is worse than the people even can express. So the first challenge I have is the challenge of power. There's no light. We have just about 6 to 8 hours of light daily, half of which they bring from midnight, towards morning. You give me light by 1 a.m. and then you take it by 5. The next time I see light is by 2 in the afternoon, and then you take it by 4. You understand? So the first challenge is power, and then again, customer satisfaction. Someone walks into your shop, and then after you work yourself out to give him the best, and then he just looks at it. From their expression, you can't really tell if they are happy or not. I've come to observe that part of the problem is just to justify the cost. They're like, why are you collecting 1,000 from me, while you are giving me this kind of job? Some of them will have the guts to tell you that I have somebody just close to my house that can do the same job for a lesser price. I'm like, sir, so why did you come? I say that in my mind. I don't tell them, of course. I have to relate peacefully with my customers. So customer satisfaction, is something we are working hard to build. You understand? So customers and then power. Water supply too. Sometimes we have to buy water, especially during the dry season. We have to buy water, 20 liters of water is 1 naira per liter. So 20 liters of water is 20 naira, Sometimes we buy up to 200 liters of water in a day. You get the point. And just to wash a couple of clothes. But thanks to the invention of the washing machine, we can conserve water. We wash, we spin before we rinse, then we spin again. With that, you could use 20 liters of water to wash about 20 fabrics. So it makes it a little easier. We have tried to devise a means of managing water, but we can't manage light, So we had to buy the generator. So we're almost beating the challenge of power because we got a generator now. And so we can press and wash. We can wash and press with or without power, even though it costs more. But at this point, we're not charging our customers for generator service because they give us clothes, we give them dates. They don't care how we do it. They come to collect. So it's power, customer satisfaction, and then water supply. In the next 5 years, actually, I had a vision. I'm a little below 30. I had a dream to employ 30 people at age 30. That was my vision. And so when I started this shop, people have come and gone. Total, everybody that has worked with me, the ones that are around, I have 4 staff now, 3 regular, 1 is on and off. I have 4 staff now, like 3 or so more have come and gone. So I would say I've employed like between 7 to 10 people, including other hustles. I don't just do laundry. Like I said, I'm a street guy, so I do a couple of things. So the prospects in the next 5 years is to, first of all, have 3 operational branches. 3 operational branches. And every one of my staff, 5 years into this business, should be earning no less than 50,000 naira. That is it. Should be earning no less than 50,000 naira. Myself, of course, I'm traveling somewhere. I'm going somewhere. So personally, I would say that the grand vision is it's more than 5 years per se. I might share it with you behind cameras, but but 5 years from now, I hope that every one of my staff earns more than 50,000 naira, 2 to 3 fully operational branches. You understand? And then be a household name. Yes, the vision, like if I'm going to read the vision statement for you, is to be among the top 5 laundry houses in Jos after 5 years. That was what I wrote in my business plan. I want to be among the top 5 years into my business. Yeah. Advice for the youth. The truth is, I'll tell every youth that is watching me right now, everybody, every one of you that is watching this clip right now, nobody cares how hard you are trying. Nobody is out there designed to pity you. There's nobody out there sitting down waiting for you to come and ask for help from. You have to work hard. Forget your certificate. Every one of us was given something by God to help live this life fruitfully. You have to discover yours. You have to think. You have to act. Stop begging for sympathy. Stop going all up and down telling people how poor your family is or how poor your family has been or the level of your education. Nobody cares how well you have studied. People want to see results. I thought, and he's paying me. Think, brothers and sisters. Act. Pray to God. You just have to believe. Because you alone, I am very sure, cannot do anything. I know that the principles of success are open to everybody, believers and unbelievers alike. And as a believer, I am a born Christian. I believe in Christ to be my Savior. I accepted Him. I trust that though the principles of success are open to everybody, the children of God have a higher advantage of succeeding. Connect to God, think and think and think, and then try to be productive. Do everything you can. Every hard work pays. Commit your plans to God, of course, and then He will make you prosper. I'm very, very grateful for Equa TV, for Equa TV being a global brand, not just covering Nigeria, not just West Africa, but Africa, even Asia and parts of Europe, leaving your whole scope and coverage and locating me right here in Brukuba Road, Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. It's a big deal for me. I'm very, very happy. And I'm sure that everybody would attest to the fact that we need more programs like this. The youth need to know that it's more to life than just certificates. Everybody will die someday, but nobody will inherit your certificate. But if I die today, I'm very sure that my bank will transfer my money to my dad, my mom, or any other person that will be alive, to enjoy the benefits. So I'm saying this today. Equa TV, kudos to you. This program is the best. Make it happen. I'm very, very sure. Just like you have done it for me, I hope that one day I'll be strong enough to do it for you. I pray that I will be one day in this life the biggest sponsor of Make It Happen. Thank you, Equa TV. Very, very grateful. God bless you.